I'm very pleased to be making some positive announcements about easing of restrictions in New South Wales, but we do so with caution. As we know, the vaccine rollout's only just commenced. In New South Wales, and there'll be some months before any significant amount of the population has access to the vaccine. But also we know that we can't let our guard down. Even though we're easing restrictions, it's more important than ever before to make sure we're checking in when we go to venues, keeping our social distance, getting tested if we have the mildest of symptoms, and making sure we follow all the other rules to keep ourselves safe and also those closest to us safe as well. I also want to stress and thank the number of people that are coming forward to testing. We're seeing an increase on the week previously on the number of people coming forward and getting tested, and that's good news. It means all of us are on our watch, on our guard, and all of us are continuing to be vigilant against this pandemic or this virus. In relation to New South Wales, from Friday, so from after 1 minute past midnight on Friday morning, you'll be able to welcome 50 people into your home instead of 30. But please know that this comes with risk. Make sure nobody comes into your house with symptoms that hasn't been tested and been told they can leave their house. Make sure there's good ventilation, good distancing. Please be careful if you are taking up this opportunity. You can have 50 people at your house, but you need to do so with caution, and you need to make sure that everybody is following the COVID rules. In relation to weddings, you can now have 30 people on the dance floor at any one time, and it doesn't have to be the same 30 people. So essentially, each of your guests will be able to have a dance, but it has to be only 30 at a time. And that is to make sure that we, again, reduce the risk of super spreading events, but we also acknowledge that industry has been hit hard, and we also appreciate what an important day it is for those who are getting married during this time. So you can have 30 on the dance floor at any given time. It doesn't have to be the same 30, and we ask everybody to please respect that. In relation to weddings also, if things continue to go well, we will reevaluate the cap. Currently there's a 300 cap on weddings, and we're even looking to ease that in 3 weeks or so if things continue the same way. So that's positive news for that industry. But in the meantime, everybody at your event, at your wedding, can dance, but only 30 at a time, and we ask everybody again to respect that. In relation to being able to standing up and having a drink, at the moment you can do that outside venues, you can't do it indoors, but from March 17, if everything goes well, in 3 weeks' time, you'll be able to stand up and have a drink indoors as well as outdoors, and that again is a positive move. For gyms, you'll be able to have up to 50 in a class, so long as they are subject to the 4 square metre rule. So unlike other venues, gyms are still at 4 square metres, but you can have up to 50 in a class rather than 30, which exists now. Now, in relation to singers or performers, we've previously said the limit was 5 indoors. It's now gone up to 30. So whether it's a choir at a place of worship or whether it's a choir at another venue, you can have up to 30 people performing or singing. And if congregations want to sing, everybody will have to wear a mask, and they'll have to go back to the 4 square metre rule. So at the moment, places of worship at the 2 square metre rule, but if congregations want to engage in singing, they can, but we ask that everybody wear a mask and adhere to the 4 square metre rule. So as you see, these are a combination of very positive easing of restrictions. We're nearly there in terms of what burdens we're imposing on the community, but we're also at a critical stage in the pandemic. The vaccine rollout is starting, and we're confident that people will take up the opportunity for the vaccine. But in the meantime, we have to be as vigilant as ever.